So, remember what a great idea we thought the Rubies of Grief subplot was? What? No, you don't? We thought it was terrible? Well, yeah, you're right, it's pretty shit. Well, we're going on with it anyway.
I don't know what you're talking about. This is the best side quest chain.
I don't think that it is. I think that instead of being good, that it's bad, and that there are others that are, well, maybe not good, but less bad.
So, this entire thing is about big talking red circles.
Yes.
Yep. It was such a good idea that they put them in not just one permutation of this area, but two. Two totally different timelines with the same shitty gimmick. I mean, we've gotten to the point where it's not just reusing Final Fantasy XIII's cut content, it's reusing its own cut content.
So, like, does everyone just know that time paradox shit's going on right now, or...?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Like, that's just a thing. Everybody knows there are paradoxes. And that's just like...
Yeah, it's gotten to the point where a computer can scan itself for paradox data and detect a paradox virus. And presumably there's a paradox antivirus program that people use.
This game is dumb.
Oh good, you've noticed.
So yeah, this part is sped up. You will find that about 3/4 of this video is sped up.
Because this is just such an exciting and engaging area.
Please, be excited.
Okay, I'm very excited. I'm highly excitable. Everyone knows that there's nothing that I love more than random, pointless subquests in Final Fantasy XIII-2.
I mean, this is a great way to introduce me to the game. I've never seen it before, so...
Oh, trust us, this is pretty representative. I mean, most of the game is approximately this dumb. All of the good parts are kind of different, divergent. But no, a lot of it is just fetch quests, boring, interchangeable dialogue, keywords that don't really mean anything, poorly thought out implemented things interspersed with battles, people talking, dumps of text. Did I mention the fetch quests?
So it's a Final Fantasy game.
Fair, but without even the class that stuff is normally done with in other Final Fantasy games. They're normally good at making you care about fetch quests. But in this one it just seems like, hey, Final Fantasy games have fetch quests, right? Let's put some fetch quests in. It's like they didn't even care themselves.
So there's a person here, and as far as I can tell, this person is not related to any of the side quests in this area.
So it's just a random paradox guy. Just chilling.
Yeah, like if you talk to him again, he just does the same thing. None of the side quests relate to him. He's just there.
That's actually a little bit astounding.
So he's, like, they just pulled an NPC out of an old Final Fantasy game who never changes their dialogue and slapped him there.
See, I'd have had to give the writer some credit if that was an actual thing. Like, you just mod search a random ghost-looking thing and out pops a soldier and he says, "Hi, welcome to Corneria."
What happened to me? I think I got
Or some such.
paradox. I remember having an argument with my sister and then
But, you know, the last... I still... I still haven't gotten over the mental scarring from the last time somebody attempted a crossover of every classic Final Fantasy game.
She must be so distraught. Can I ask
Even an implicit one.
if you see my
It
sister,
ended poorly.
tell her that I love her very much and that none of this was her fault.
Duodecima's okay.
I was gonna say the same thing, but no, he's
I was swallowed
no, we're talking about the after years.
Oh,
Oh lord, how we are talking about the after years. You know, Druidessa was at least like upfront about like, hey, this is a Final Fantasy crossover mashup fighting game. It's 100% fan service. Whereas After Years was just like, hey, here's a sequel to Final Fantasy IV. Oh, and by the way, every other Final Fantasy game is set in the same universe, and that is a glowy void thing.
Yep, the secret monster for Yasha's 110 is Kanakamoi. He is a pretty good saboteur, but really, you don't need another saboteur aside from Sarah, so...
You know? Is it at least a good fight?
It's significantly easier than the Tonberry is, in as much as we can actually complete it.
Well, yeah, but is it a moderately enjoyable iteration of Final Fantasy XIII.exe?
If you like the archetype, yeah, it's a pretty good version of it. I don't think he ever actually gets any good hits on Omnia, though. Because, like, he misses with that first feeding stoop, and then he doesn't get a second one.
Yeah, straight up decent fights are actually kind of, like we said, they're kind of few and far between in this game, just because of the horrific balance issues. So, these, like, random void fights are kind of good in that regard, and just because they're actual fights that you might conceivably maybe lose.
So they're like mini-bosses, right?
They're uncharacteristically tough compared to the other monsters in the area.
They're like mini-bosses if mini-bosses could randomly respawn and fight you anytime.
That sounds like something that would spice up a Final Fantasy game, yeah?
Yeah, it's a legitimately good idea, like, and it's a good way of doing that without having situations like where you just get into a random encounter and oh hey, it's the fuck you enemy and you're dead and your time has been wasted. You know when it's one of these things. It doesn't chase you, you have to want to fight it, but it's still a rare monster and it's still interesting. So you get all of everything. That thing was called a terrorist's mark.
Yeah, it is significantly less interesting than you're thinking right now.
Oh good, because I was thinking it was pretty boring. Mog?
Are you throwing a Moogle?
Yes, we are throwing the Moogle at a box because we're too lazy to go get it ourselves.
Also, you literally can't get that thing.
What's the difference between an outdoor watch and an indoor watch?
Well, you see, this one it's a similar model to the one Snow has, and the Snow's is basically built to be indestructible, and that's why it's special.
Wait, hold it. Snow had a watch?
Yes, you didn't know he had a watch?
I didn't know that he had a watch. I must have missed it in all the, like, intricately detailed, full-budget CG cutscenes that, show his wrists.
See, I was thinking an outdoor watch would have, like, a sundial instead of an actual clock on it.
Maybe, I'd have thought Snow's watch was just, like, an AC brand with watch hands on it.
Oh, so here's a fun thing. Remember last video how we were talking about how the game continues to run even during cutscenes?
Oh god. You're kidding, right?
No. So, Artificial Greens are being drained right now while we talk to this guy.
Did they at least pause in the live trigger choice?
I believe they do, yes.
Well, I guess the one upside of it is that we get to continue listening to this song.
And hearing the chocobo screech in the background.
Like I said, it really adds a ambience. I think most of the dialogue in this game would be dramatically improved if it just had constant chocobo screeching added to it. It certainly get me to take it a lot more seriously.
Well, the person who told us to go find you is a giant red orb right now, but thanks, we'll pass along the message.
I'm sure Sarah appreciates the mansplaining. You walk up to the thing and it's like, oh, I see my message was delivered. So how much awareness do these things have? Are they everywhere? Do they just know all of the things that are going on? What the hell is the deal with these fucking things? Christ, it's dumb. Is there any single aspect of these fucking things that is not dumb and stupid and ridiculous and poorly thought out and just straight up Final Fantasy XIII-2?
Well, if you read the data log...
No! Let me just stop you there.
We already have the thing we need, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Oh, well, that proves something, I guess. That we found a thing that they all wear, which for some reason is a thing in the first place. Why do they all wear a thing?
Because they're a terrorist group that are bent on taking down the Academy.
I mean, it said something about they were working for Fal'Cie, so would that not mean that they were l'Cie?
No, they were not l'Cie. They were... I think they were fighting the Fal'Cie, sort of. I don't know. I didn't pay attention to what the thing said.
Right, because that goes so well for so many people. I mean, don't most people who try and fight Fal'Cie end up, turned into the sea?
Surprisingly, yes. I can't imagine what the coincidence is between those two.
Oh joy, it's a paradox void.
And you know what that means.
Some kind of stupid arbitrary puzzle? Is it at least not a clock puzzle?
Let's go.
I really hope it's not a clock puzzle, because I'm kind of running out of computer science rants to go on.
I have some bad news.
So yeah, as most viewers will at this point have noticed, there are two variants of these bullshit, stupid, fucking irritating, dumb fucking shit puzzles. First is the one that we're seeing now, where you get relatively straightforward puzzles, but you have to do them under a time condition, which means you're constantly going, oh my god, what is, I don't know, I can't keep track. And it's extremely annoying. The other one is just, straight up complicated. Here, again, you can see the exact point at which Artix just goes, nope, fuck it, nope, and goes to consult clockpuzzle.jp or whatever the website is. It's bad enough that they give you the stupid puzzle ones, like the ones that are complicated but don't have a time limit, other than the fact that they reset themselves when you retry, so it's not even like a puzzle that you can trial and error and, maybe actually somewhat learn something while solving. But no, but these are even worse.
Yeah, that's the big thing about these, some of them, especially, even the big ones, if you fuck it up, they will change. On top of having to redo them.
Yeah. It's like, the point of most puzzle games is, take as many tries as you need to solve the puzzle, but the point of this is not solving a puzzle, it's running a fucking algorithm in your head, optionally under time conditions.
I do like how they were so bad at actually designing the game, that the pause screen doesn't hide the puzzle, so you can just pause and look at it and completely ruin the concept of a time limit to begin with.
Oh, I'm pretty sure that's just a happy coincidence. I think if they bothered to put any more thought into this, they'd have been bad enough at game design that it would have occurred to them that, hey guys, maybe we should hide the puzzle so people can't cheat at our video game! I mean, as it is, it's pretty hard to see already. It's all blurred to shit, and
It's a little blurry, but it's not hard because they're all colored differently.
yeah, the colours are distinct, so, that's nice. Again, it's all accidental small mercies. that make this not totally unbearable and just, you know, regular
Stepped into the rift.
unbearable.
Paradox. It was the same paradox, the same ancient threat that Yule had banished into the void beyond so long ago.
So let me get this straight. They're not only reusing the area and the Rubies of Grief, they're also reusing the conclusions of the Rubies of Grief subplot.
Oh, but you see, this time we actually get to fight the monster.
Change things. She looked into the
There actually is a payoff to this section.
able to see the consequences of what she
Oh, good. Like, I guess it's nice that they're letting us do the same thing again and actually get a payoff this time. Although, you know, that does kind of raise the one question, but, let's not kick the poor game while it's down.
The timeline. Can you hear me?
So this is not just any red orb.
It's her.
This is Yule's red orb.
Yes.
It's
I
like
am
the
Goddess
Yule.
Servant of the goddess.
Well, you know,
To the
the
timeline.
Yule, if you're talking about like 200 years ago or whatever, some bullshit.
Unforgivable crime.
You know.
And
Yeah,
everyone
which
must
Yule is the Yule is kind of
Many years
ambiguous.
ago, evil in the form of a merciless beast materialized.
Yeah, all we really know is that this is a Yule from like
It was
a couple hundred years ago that saw this monster destroying Padra and she sealed it away.
Presumably there was a point where there started being Yules, like there weren't always Yules. Like, Yule is based off of a single person who started becoming endless and reincarnated in something the heart of Etro, probably Etro's fault, like everything else wrong in this fucking universe.
When they were taken,
I don't know.
all that remained were crimson orbs. Orbs that contained their grief and anguish.
Oh good, it's nice that we're getting some exposition about this at the very end,
The terrible mistake that I had made.
and it's nice that that, again, tells us absolutely nothing that we didn't already know from the text dump at the start of the subplot.
What kind of monster eats time? Who thought this was a good idea?
As it turns out, a monster that eats time is actually just a big dog.
Wasn't there this one Sonic game that had one of those?
The terrible beast must be defeated.
I don't know, maybe I'm just imagining it. I'm pretty sure that never happened.
Right, so do you remember our good friend Ugalu?
No.
One of the Yules from
No,
America
well, I don't blame you.
distortion
He was, it was a
monster and saved the city.
It was a relatively early fight in Final Fantasy XIII, one of the early hunts. As it turns out, he's actually a time-devouring monster. You know, just throwing that out there.
Okay. I bet that was what they had in mind when they originally made that fight and designed that monster. Like, yeah, man, those idiot players are gonna think this is just some random generic monster fight.
She did the right thing.
But oh man, they have no idea what's in store with the sequel that we're suddenly going to decide to make one day.
I mean, it's also kind of silly that the ancient evil is basically a big dog, but you know. Whatever.
Had to be something. What's it? What the? That was a pretty poorly timed effect.
Square should have learned their lesson about writing about time stuff last time they tried it.
Okay, so yeah, the Ugalu, the first thing he does is he roars, and that gives him an entire set of offensive buffs, because fuck you, that's why.
So what, is this guy actually difficult?
Oh yeah, this guy is actually really dangerous. So, on top of that, his basic attack will also inflict D-Protect and D-Shell.
Lovely.
So, he's not hard to stagger, but it is basically a damage race, because he will fuck you up.
Well, it's nice when JRPG combat design gets engaging. Damage races are always good because they encourage, you know, not playing it like every other boring JRPG battle that you've ever played. Shakes things up, puts some pressure on. Plus, you know, that whole thing that we talked about before, where any fight in this particular game with actual difficulty is a welcome break.
never actually showed that off, but Meteor Javelin is Noel's special attack, like Snow's Sovereign Fist or Lightning's Army of One. It does about what you'd expect it to.
A shit ton of damage. I'm guessing Sarah has one that adds a whole bunch of stagger.
Gosh, you are on the ball today, Fiddle.
I hope we did it.
Man, I am in their heads.
End her suffering.
It's like I know what they're thinking before they think it.
In an effort to save the people of the city, Yule broke her oath and tampered with time. This caused a disturbance in the timeline, which led to the creation of a paradox.
This is a very sad and somber
The
moment.
death of many innocent people.
And why does she have the ability to mess with time to begin with?
Because that's our Etro!
If she had done nothing,
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
the city that Yule so desperately hoped to save was eventually destroyed.
She's so bad at managing the world that she actually makes people make the same monumental fuck-ups that she does.
Padra.
Oh
I don't
well.
have the ability to see into the future like she does, and I'm thankful for that.
Because I'm going to live to be older than 20.
The outcome of all
Thumbs
our
up.
actions. Wouldn't we just give up?
Can't really argue with that.
What would be the point of trying?
Also, Mog what?
But I can't see what's going to happen. I don't have.
Is Mog a time wizard?
And that's why we can stay
Basically.
and believe in
Okay.
He's a time wizard who has no concept of fucking dissonance.
Anyway, that will end our little trip to the Yashas, but we have to go back to deliver one more thing.
Oh wait, is this the other timeline?
This is really it.
Yep,
And there's barely a
we have to go give this woman her watch back.
Oh, God forbid.
It looks like the date is off a little though. But amazingly, other than that, everything else looks intact. Once I adjust the date, it'll be as good as new.
Like-
Corona really meant it when he said that watch would last for over 10,000 years. I thought he was
Um,
joking then, but now I have proof he was telling the truth. I bought it
Well,
from a
I mean,
shop
if you...
called Lenora's Garage
100
at
years,
Time.
10,000 years, you know, same difference.
You should check it out when you get a chance.
I think I've identified the problem. I think this woman is illiterate. Or innumerate, rather.